Let's talk about the Xbox E3 press conference. This was, and until I saw the show later that evening, I was ready to give away the best conference of E3 to Xbox. Even before I had seen PlayStation, even before I had seen Bethesda, that was a mistake. It was a good show. Even after all the things that I've seen today, and afterwards, it was still a very good show. Microsoft was spot on with their show. And the more I think about it, you know, we'll get to Bethesda's conference, but the Xbox briefing still might be one of the best shows that there was. It was stellar. They needed video games, and they brought the video games this year. Let's go over just a quick list of all the stuff that was there, but I'll look at it when it comes out. You know, maybe I'll want it then, maybe I'll want. Some of you might think it looks interesting. There was The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, Battletoads, there was Cuphead DLC, which I am actually fairly interested in that. There was Devil May Cry 5, they showed us a Gears of War trailer, they showed us Just Cause 4, Jump Force, Kingdom Hearts 3, Metro Exodus, which I am actually very interested in that, but that's not what I want to highlight during this section. Mostly because Metro Exodus is going to be coming out on multiple platforms. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I am interested in, but again, not something I want to highlight here. PUBG, meh. Sea of Thieves update. I am interested in Sea of Thieves update. But the game has no content as it stands. And The Hungering Deep was not a very good update. Even free, look, even if you take into consideration it was a free update, it was not a good update. It was a meandering update that seemed to try to give us nothing to do. And they talked a lot about Xbox One Game Pass. So let's talk about what I do want to talk about. The dope-ass shit that was there, starting at the top of the show, and that would be Halo Infinite. Now, this was obviously just an engine demonstration of the Slipspace engine, so it is very safe to say that this Halo will look nothing like Halo Infinite when it actually comes out. Well, I won't say nothing, it's an engine demonstration, but, you know, it'll look similar. So it really didn't show us gameplay, setting, anything like that. I mean, you know, fuck, there was the one, you're like, oh, it did show us setting, we were on a ring. It's Halo, you're always on a fucking ring. The Halo 5 teaser showed Chief in the middle of a desert wearing a cloak with some giant Forerunner thing that came out of the ground. We never saw that again. That was not anywhere in the main game. It was a completely different, there was Forerunner technology, but it was a completely different kind of Forerunner technology, so yeah, that, no, didn't happen. So it's nice to know that they're working on Halo and that it's Halo Infinite. Other than that, I can't make, I don't care until I get actual gameplay. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice from FromSoft. Holy shit balls. It was kind of a natural progression. They were getting faster and faster, and the combat was getting quicker and better with their games. From Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2, to Bloodborne to Dark Souls 3. And obviously starting with Demon Souls way before. It was a natural progression that their combat was getting a lot faster and a lot more delicate and interesting and whatnot. So this looks like a very nice, fast, fun-paced game that I want to play. Metro Exodus, I am very interested in it. I'm glad the setting is more outside now. I am glad that with the outside setting we're going to see a lot more different types of environments that we're used to seeing in the Metro series. Gears of War. I couldn't care less about Gears of War. After 3, Gears of War, in my opinion, was never a great story. It was a good one, but never great. After Gears of War 3, I felt like they had finally, like, milked the last of it. Like, alright, that's Gears of War. Woo! Because we had, you know, some finality. in Gears of War 1, and then we had a lot of finality in Gears of War 2, or Gears of War 3 as well. So it was kind of like, okay, we killed all the locusts again. And it turns out, no, we haven't again. So, my interest in Gears of War is at an all-time low, and it'll remain there at an all-time low, even when it's on PC. Forza Horizon 4. Fuck yes. I love Forza, or Forza. There's no T. I don't know why they say it like that. I don't care if it's German or what, but Forza. Forza looks so good. Looks so good. So good. I love my racing games. I love Forza. I love Forza Motorsport because I do like my simulation from time to time. I like my hardcore racers. But the older I get, it seems I like my arcadey racers way more than I like my simulations, just because it's so much fun to screw around in them. And that is true with Forza Horizon. The dynamic seasons changing, I'm guessing it's going to be like you're playing through seasons. So maybe like they'll probably have you on dedicated servers and a season will take a week, or it may take a month, or a whole season will last a month, and then so a season itself or a full year would be 4 months in game or 4 weeks. Who knows? But they'll probably have some kind of system like that where you're playing through the seasons. Now that in itself is cool because you'll be in a dynamic environment that'll change from week to week. So you'll want to come back and see how has the world changed. Are there new events because of this? And that's what it did look like. It looked like there were events specifically timed to the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter, which is super neat that we're going to have events tied to specific times of year. That is dope. It looked gorgeous. Some people say it didn't look that much better. I'm sorry, are you fucking blind? It looked marginally better from Forza Horizon 3. The spatial shadows looked great. The anti-aliasing looked great, almost unnoticeable. It looked so much better visually, in my opinion. But I guess people that did not play the previous games would say that, oh, it only looks minor improvement, because they didn't. You don't notice major changes like that when you've looked at the details of the game. One of the things that seemed to definitely do better is that when you're moving at high speed in Forza games, things tend to lose a lot of detail. They tend to take that as a convenience to just use blur and smudge effects a lot easier. This game did not. There was definitely a lot less blurriness and a lot less smudge effects based on how quickly you were moving. She was in the main person you watched was in a McLaren Senna. And she's doing like 150, 250, or 150, 200 at some point. So you're moving pretty briskly there. So I thought it looked fantastic. Fallout 76. I don't want to talk about it here because there's a lot to talk about in the Bethesda conference later on, and Fallout 76 is definitely one of the main pieces of that. Although it was nice for them to show a trailer here, so we'll talk about it in the Bethesda conference. Dying Light 2. This one caught me off guard because they were testing a Battle Royale mode for the first Dying Light that they plan to ship in a DLC at some point. Now I'm thinking that test bed for the Battle Royale mode of Dying Light was literally just that, just a test bed, so that they could put it in Dying Light 2. But Dying Light 2 also looked extremely interesting with how dynamic the environment changed based on your decisions, and I definitely want to see more of that. The Division 2. I do want to talk so much about this because they showed us a nice chunk of gameplay and we got so much out of it, and I love The Division, but they're going to do deep dives of this, and there's going to be a deep dive on stage at the Ubisoft press conference, so I'd much rather talk about it there. But what I can tell you is that this looked good. It looked great. It looked like, hey, if you like The Division, you'll love The Division 2, and guess what? We've made drastic in-game gameplay improvements on this. People were like, oh, it looks the same. Yeah, it looks like The Division 1. No shit. I don't know if you fuckers have seen the Snowdrop engine. It's a really good engine. The Snowdrop engine's fucking damn near photorealistic. It pretty much is in some scenarios photorealistic. it's really hard to improve upon that unless you're talking about adding something that you notice, in which case would be a little bit more cartoony. So we're talking about improving upon photorealism. That's hard to do. I thought it looked great. Devil May Cry 5, I don't care. Crackdown 3. I love the fact that they are focusing on Terry Crews as a character, and he yells a lot, and that's fun because Terry Crews is just a fun character to be around. And I think what they need to do for Crackdown 3 is they don't worry about like, hey, does this work? Does it worry about fun? Just make that game as fun as throw all fucking other ambitions out the window, like balance. Does that make it too fun? Just fun. Make it broken, make it fucking nuts. Just make it fun, because that game has been delayed so many times that if you put it out and it's not just the funnest thing we get, we're gonna be upset. And it's gonna be kind of looked down upon, because it's like you delayed it 4 times for a subpar average game, or a slightly better than average, a 6 or a 7. You know, unless that game is a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, you know, for people, it's going to be looked down upon, unfortunately, for Xbox. And that's really sad, because they've really spent a lot of time on this. One of the last things I want to talk about is that Microsoft announced that they had bought 5 studios. Now, first, you may not think this is big, but first off, if you play on PC, this is huge for you, because all of Xbox's first titles are coming to Windows PC. Secondly, if you're an Xbox player or you're a PC player, this is big for all of us. Xbox is gearing up for the next generation of console wars. Sony's already announced that this is coming to a close. You know, the Xbox One and the PS4 are coming to the end of their life cycle, and Microsoft's on board with that. They announced that, yes, the next generation of consoles is already being worked on. They talked to us about that, okay? With that being said, hiring 5 additional studios, as far as I know, Microsoft now owns 8 studios. Rare, the Coalition, 343 Industries, Undead Labs, Ninja Theory, Playground, whoever made, I forget, We Happy Few, I don't remember their names, and then I forget the last one. So they own 8 studios now, okay? I want you to think about that. 8 studios, okay, all together, and they take their games, and they basically, Bethesda owns 6 studios. Bethesda puts a game out like every other year. Microsoft is going to have 8 studios working on console launch exclusives, okay? They're going to come out of the gate like, BAM! 8 new games you can't play on the PlayStation 5. And they're probably going to pay an additional 1 or 2 studios for exclusives as well, okay? They are going to come out of the gates slinging fire. That's just a really good thing for them, because they desperately need it in comparison to Sony. Put it this way, you know how Microsoft currently has like 3 or 4 exclusives right now? They get Gears of War, Halo, and Forza, okay? They're gonna have like 10 exclusives that are gonna be constantly in rotation right now. Sony has like 8, and they occasionally have new first-party titles, but they have like 7 or 8 studios that are constantly rotating. Microsoft's gonna have more than them, and that's a really, really, really good thing. Alright, lastly, the last thing I want to talk about before we get ready for Bethesda's conference and we start talking about it. Cyberpunk 2077. Give it to me! Yeah, that's about my mood on Cyberpunk 2077. I don't really want to talk about it a lot, for the reason that they just showed a trailer, and if you're really interested, go watch the trailer. And the reason why I also don't want to talk about it a lot is because they said in that there's actually a screen that you can freeze frame and watch. They said it'll come out when it's ready. We're not going to tell you when it's going to come out. It'll come out when it's ready. So does that mean 2019, 2020, 2021? We don't know when it's ready. And Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red, they care about quality the most. So if they run into issues and it takes another year, it takes another year. And that's a great thing about this developer. It makes you want their games even more. And Cyberpunk 2077, that trailer gave us more of a realized idea of the setting. It is going to be, if you don't know what Cyberpunk 2020 is, do a little research on it. It's an old tabletop game, and then there was a game that came out of that. It's going to be set in Night City, between San Francisco and LA. Night City is a coastal town that's in California, and so that's going to be the setting. You can see on one of the things there, it says NCPD, Night City Police Department. At first we thought this was a game that we were going to be playing a police officer. Now I'm not so sure about this guy. He kind of seems, maybe he's part of the law, maybe he's in the law, maybe he's out of the law, maybe that's how the cops roll. But I think we have our main antagonist, and I think we have the generalized setting. And it looked fantastic. It looked like the environments ranged wildly. Everything from insane crazy, over the top cyberpunk type of lifestyle to you know, fucking Bubba standing there with the electrified shotgun and some lady in a tube top and American flange short shorts that's pregnant smoking a cigarette. It had, I love that. I want the futuristic realized version of American cynicism. It's beautiful. GTA did it fantastically, and I want to see a futurized version, contextualized, of America in Cyberpunk 2077, and I think they're going to deliver it. Just from that trailer alone, it's very clear where they want to push their imagery, and that was fantastic to see. So I'm super pumped for that. I hope you are as pumped as I am. Thank you for watching this press conference recap for the Xbox. This is a little bit longer because there was a ton of stuff to talk about. It'll be great. It'll be great. And next up's Bethesda, which again is a ton of stuff to talk about. I'm Guns. You can watch me live over at twitch.tv/GUNZGAMES. You can follow me on Twitter at 3GUNSDOWN to hear all my bitching, rantings, or fangirl screaming. Yeah. I'll see you later, guys. GG.